Well, thanks for joining me again this week in the Raleigh Tavern. We want to build on what we began in the last episode. How can we as Christian Americans influence turning our country in the way it needs to go? Well, let's learn from some of those CEOs who step into struggling companies or head coaches that step into struggling football programs and turn them around. What they always do first, and what we've got to do first, is gain clarity on our identity, in their case as a program, in our case as a country. Clarity on who we are, why we exist, and what's the foundation of what we're trying to accomplish here. And fortunately for us, we have a template and a history that clarifies that. And we have drifted radically as a country. But as Christians who pray for our country, get involved, vote, step into positions of civic leadership in all of its different forms, let's make sure we have one voice that resoundingly says, we are a people who trust in God. I think that is more than implicit in what I believe is the founding phrase of our whole country, going all the way back to the Declaration of Independence. Those who formed us and created this whole new thing that we know as the United States of America, they began it by saying, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all of us are created equal and endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness are the three foundational ones they spelled out. But absolutely, definitively clear, they knew who we were. We were a group, organized, a nation, under God. He created all of us. We have a sense of Him. In fact, there's been different points where our nation has drifted and we've had to come back to that. And that's exactly what job number one for us today is to get us back to a clarity of definition of who we are. Abraham Lincoln relied on those same words from the Declaration of Independence to call us back when we had drifted and we had lived so inconsistently. We were completely hypocrites to our true identity when we had allowed slavery to take such hold. In fact, it was Dr. King in 1963, his I Have a Dream speech. You notice he did the same thing that President Lincoln did. He took us back to that founding phrase when we again needed a recalibration, in essence a revolution, because we had drifted. We had fallen into hypocrisy again. We had not quite fully corrected to living up to our identity. And there's other points. 1954, the words under God were added to our Pledge of Allegiance. We are one nation under God, clarifying our identity. In 1956, our Congress passed and President Eisenhower signed that our official motto as a nation is, "In God we trust." That phrase had been on coins since 1864, but from that point, 1956 on, it's on our paper currency as well. It is our official motto. It's the phrase that ought to unite, orient, and guide all of us as Americans, and yet we've drifted from it. It's time we get back to clarity. Same thing, you see a University of Alabama coach, when Coach Saban comes in, he's getting University of Alabama football back to who it is and what it is. Same with Coach Harbaugh at Michigan. They've drifted for so long. Well, when he steps in, he says, it's time we get clarity. Here's where it starts. Where the turn starts is getting clear on who we are. So it's time for Americans to stand up, Christian Americans, and say, here's who we are. We are one nation under God. We will see ourselves as needing to trust in Him. And we're going to talk about that further on the next episode of Inside the Raleigh Tavern. So join me next time and we'll dig into the next step on how we manifest that clarity as one nation under God. Well, thanks for joining us today in the Raleigh Tavern. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel to receive email updates every time a new episode is available, and I'll look forward to seeing you again next time in the Raleigh Tavern.